Hi, everybody.
I'm Liz,
And I'm Rob.
and together we are
Liz,
Liz and Rob. How are you doing today?
I'm very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we start this week's check-in, we're just going to start as we always do with our secret snack and our tea.
Mm-hmm.
Your tea, as always, in the Tears of Your Enemies cup. And
Yeah.
that's the last. We're going to have to pick another flavor. That's the last of the raspberry green tea.
Oh, man. All right. Unless you just get more.
Well, we can see if we
Yeah.
can find that one.
Okay.
And I'm drinking a honey chai.
Okay.
Honey chai. All right. And the secret snacks, we both picked the same one because you were filming last week,
Mm-hmm.
and we had leftover blueberry muffins. So we each picked the same secret snack for
Yep.
the other one, leftover blueberry muffins.
Yep.
All right. So I wanted to, in our catch up, because I was away last week
Mm-hmm.
at a conference, I was invited with my organization and one of my coworkers, Robin DeLuca Oconee, who is a social worker and teacher of social work at Stony Brook University, and she has done research into what causes burnout among social workers.
Mm-hmm.
And she presented at last year's annual conference, and she was invited back this year to not only do a follow-up, but to talk about maybe what are some ways that you can address it,
Right.
both individually and systemically. So we created a workshop matching her work with the work she and I do together at What Better Looks Like. And it was a lot of fun to be. I was down in Atlanta from Tuesday to Saturday, and I had never been to Atlanta before.
How
It was
how
really
was it?
special. Well, you know this part, but I will share.
Well,
it.
no, just in general. How
Yeah,
was the city?
I
of
loved the
Atlanta?
city of Atlanta, and the hotel we were at was right across from Centennial Park, which had been built for the '96 Olympics. So it was interesting, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful park. Of course, there's both beautiful memories and tragic memories about Centennial Park. So it was interesting. I spent a lot of time walking through the park because it was right across and we had beautiful weather. And the one place I wanted to go, and I did not know the city of Atlanta, I had no idea how everything was set up, but I knew the one place that I really wanted to go was to the King Center, which was founded in 1968, just after Dr. King was assassinated, by Coretta, because she knew she needed to be the one who set up the space that
Mm-hmm.
set the legacy for Dr. King. And when I looked it up when we got to our hotel, I realized it was only a little over a mile's walk from where we were. So it took me about 20 minutes to walk from our hotel. And it's called Auburn Avenue, and it really is a historic block, a historic avenue. And there are markers along the way for different places, and I posted about them. But when you get closer to where the King Center is, you first reach Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Martin Luther King Sr. was pastor.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not realize that there have only been 5 pastors in the history of that church. And it goes back to the 1800s. So that was interesting.
A lot of lifelong pastors, I would imagine.
Yeah. And although Dr. King was never a pastor at that church, he was co-pastor with his father. And the week we went, I'm always aware that April 4th is the anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, and I always commemorate and honor that in a way that is solemn and special for me. But the day I decided that I had the free time to walk over, the day of our presentation, it wasn't until the afternoon, so I decided, just as a way of centering myself and preparing, I want to go over to Ebenezer Baptist Church to say a little prayer. And I had not realized that April 9th was the anniversary of his funeral.
Mm.
So they had set the church up with the wreath, the same kind of wreath that he had there the day of his funeral. But because it was that special day, they had Dr. King's voice coming from the sound speakers of the church. And I got to sit in Ebenezer Baptist Church and listen to Dr. King preach in his own voice.
Wow.
And it was unbelievable. Even now, telling you, I can't explain how special that was to me. And then the King Center itself which was a little disappointing, was closed for maintenance. But the grounds themselves are beautiful. I got to visit the visitor center. I got to visit the grounds. I got to stop at the Eternal Flame, which preserves the eternal dream of
Mm-hmm.
Dr. King. And in this beautiful reflecting pool are the burial places of Dr. King and Coretta Scott King. So even though the center wasn't open, I was able to really have this beautiful, sacred morning to just, I don't even know, I'm not often at a loss for words. It was just this beautiful experience, and I got to meet one of the park workers who was wonderful, who was leading people through Ebenezer Baptist Church, and it gave me the little flyer to commemorate the
Mm-hmm.
funeral and the memorial of Dr. King. It was just a beautiful experience.
Well, let's talk about that. Your interaction with that person, because
Oh,
that's pretty
well,
amazing.
yeah, she was an older woman, and I had forgotten that it wasn't the attached park in the center, and all of it is part of the National Park Service. And so the woman, as I was leaving, I was so emotional. And there was an older woman named Marie, and she was there, and it wasn't crowded. And I just wanted to share that experience with someone. So she was changing the times on the sign for when the church was going to be open. And so I said, "Can I just tell you for a few minutes how meaningful it is and why this is so emotional for me?" And she said, "Sure, if you can do it while I'm changing the signs," which is very sweet. And so I told her a little bit about my dad and what Dr. King had meant, and how Dr. King's assassination was my first memory of the world. And then I told her why I was in Atlanta, that I couldn't believe it coincided. And I said I was leaving the church to go present at a school social worker conference where we were presenting this work that was based on a question that was asked of my student. And I told her about my friend Jessica, who had asked me almost 33 years ago, "You want me to make the world better? What would better look like?" And when I said that, Marie stood up and she looked at me and she said, "What would better look like?" She said, "That's a song that Dr. King would have sung from this church." And I got so emotional. And some of you may know that I'm still in touch with Jessica. And I was able to, while I was walking back from the church to get ready for the conference, I texted her and I said, "I want you to know that that question you asked me 30 years ago that so inspired me also inspired the person who is charged with preserving the Ebenezer Baptist Church and to make sure people get and understand how special it was." So that was beautiful.
That's an amazing story. I mean, really, is just
Yeah, it was powerful.
incredibly powerful moment.
It was powerful. But I want to note that you didn't just fancy up for the people, the
No,
good
well,
people of.
we're both dressed kind of fancy, for a very specific reason. So, as of this recording, it's April 16th, right? Wednesday,
Wednesday.
April 16th. We are both going to events tonight, but not together.
Yeah.
We're going to two separate events. So, what is your event?
Well, you guys know that every Wednesday during the cohort, from October through May, is the Coming Home program and their community dinner. But tonight is really a special night that they've done the last, well, I guess regularly, and they call it Style Night. And it's a night specifically for the people who are the participants in the cohort, so that can have a night when they're just really pampered and
Mm-hmm.
treated well. And we're getting close to graduation. They're getting ready to send them out into the world. And so it's this evening where they can get a manicure. They're going to have someone who can cut their hair. They have a professional photograph taken, and they have new and, I guess, gently used clothes set up in a
Mm-hmm.
store. So it's all set up in the space where we have the community dinner, and they can go from station to station. And there will be the regular meal, there'll be desserts, and celebration of the work that this team has done together and this group has done together since October. And this acknowledgement that in just a couple of weeks they'll graduate from the program. And I'm really happy to be there, honoring them and sitting with them in this space while we celebrate just the beautiful work of Communities of Healing and Justice and Dawn Ravella and the team at Coming Home, and the people who committed to this deep work of transformation with people who are reentering from having been in the carceral
Right.
system. Yeah.
Awesome.
And so I know that tonight is a super special night for you.
So early last year and late 2023, I was shooting a video for a organization called Camp Hill. Camp Hill, you should probably describe it better than
No,
I
you
can. They yeah, it's easier for you to do it because you work with these types of programs all the time.
Well, they're an organization that set up different spaces and different programs for adults who have different
Differently abled, and it could be anywhere, anything from Down syndrome to
Right.
autism, being on the spectrum, but
But-
a bunch of different. It could be anything. Yeah.
but it's set up so that people can live, this is a common theme in our lives, in true community.
Right.
And you got to visit, there was one up in Hudson in New York
Right.
where you visited and you filmed, and one down in the Philadelphia area.
Right.
And which was a farm. And
Right. And they're two very vastly different communities, because one community in Hudson's very sort of like they're really art based. So many of their things are putting on shows and theater based and all, and very creative force behind the Camp Hudson. The other Camp Hill is farm based, like agricultural based. So they there learn how to farm, and they learn how to take care of animals, and they learn how to, and there are some artistic things there as well. Like they do a lot of mosaic work and painting and clay work. What's that called when you work with clay and you bake them?
Pottery?
Pottery. Yeah. How did I not remember the word
That's okay.
pottery? And so it's incredible, and there are Camp Hills all over the world. So I only visited 2 of them, but I shot a video that was meant for a gala, and it played at the gala last year. And so I'm going to that gala this year, primarily because I made so many friends there that I get to see them, and I haven't seen them in a year, so I want to see them. Now, full disclosure, I did not make a video this year. Somebody else had made that video. I think they use a different person each year. I don't know how that works, but I'm not there to show off a video. I'm there really because I have not seen my friends in a year, and I want to see them.
I love that you're going to be at this gala.
Yeah.
This is so special for you because you were very busy this year working on a lot of projects.
Right.
And you kept saying, we need to get up to visit Camp Hill. We need to take the time. We need to get up.
And it just didn't happen. So this is a perfect opportunity for not only for me to get to see them, but for them to, because they're pampered there. They get the nice steaks, and they get the the cool dinners, and they're the ones who are honored. So
Although
so
it's always a welcoming, beautiful space for them. Baseline, but it's nice.
You're talking about at Camp Hill, yeah, absolutely.
But it's nice to dress up,
right? That's exactly it,
make a
and
big
they
deal about people,
right,
yeah.
right. And so but they're there being honored. Now it's a gala, so it's meant to raise money, but they're there to represent,
be celebrated, really.
to represent and be celebrated and be honored. So I'm happy to be part of just sitting at their table and cheering them on.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. And how did you spend your week when I was away?
So, how did I spend my week? It was mostly just we finished up the animation project, so that's already being submitted to festivals. Came out great. I love the way it came out. I think I'm hoping they were happy. They seemed very happy about how it came out. Still working on the boys' film, so that's coming along really great. I think we're probably almost done with the first half of it, so we have to sit and do some assessment and stuff. Also, I'm working on a project with a very old friend, Dennis Tom, which is I can't talk too much about,
No, you can't.
but it's a lot of fun artwork and it has something to do with NFTs. So that's all I'm gonna say. And then I also started working on our. We always talk about our friend EJ. Started working on his film, so hopefully I'll have
And you
something
did
together
film,
for him.
You did film a little short film.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
actually
and so last
inspired by
week.
EJ.
So was it last week or 2 weeks ago? We talked. Oh no, we talked about the student film festival. So forget that. We talked about that
We
last
talked
episode.
about that. Yeah.
But I had driving back from the festival. For some reason, I had this idea, and within 2 weeks, we just shot it. And it's quick. It's 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute video. It's a spoof on all those TikTok prank videos, and it just goes horribly, horribly wrong. What starts out to be fun pranks go horribly wrong, and it's actually very funny. Jake is in it. Eliana Rodriguez is in it, who is in the cast of Violet Hearts, and they were just very funny. Everyone was contributing very funny stuff to it, and it's a very it ended up being a really great. Ryan Boringer is in it, who is very funny as well. And everyone just like I said, it was a real great collaborative day of shooting. And that's done. So I think I'm hoping to get that out tomorrow, actually. So that's that with that. Is there anything else on my end? No.
That sounds like a very busy, productive week. And I'm glad we are rushing out to get ready to our respective evenings, but we wanted to just catch you guys up, let you know how our week went, and to say thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
Bye.
And we'll talk about the galas tomorrow.
Yes.
We're going to film back-to-back
Yeah.
episodes. All right.
All right. Later. Bye.
Bye.